Department of Propaganda. You heard me? Department of Propaganda. That's right. Department of Propaganda.
Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by the Department of Propaganda. It's your host with the most, Sojo here. Let's just get right into today's story. It just broke today regarding Kamala Harris pandering to the black church from the pulpit. And that's nothing new for politicians, I'm sure, on both sides. If they have to pander to a certain group, they're going to get in alignment with what they think they can connect to that group the most. If you're trying to get more black support, then yes, the black church is a center and a bedrock for the community. However, it's still a church. It's still a church. And there are legalities. There's rules that churches who fall under the 501c3 facet of the government, meaning that they do not pay taxes. Most churches fall under that and have that paperwork. They're really not supposed to show political favor to any candidate. I'm sure if they did, then they'd have to invite everyone who is running to come. That's not really the federal, and that's a federal thing. At first I thought maybe it's by state, but no. Not in order not to pay taxes, you have to agree to not engage in that. However, all the politicians do it, especially the incumbent ones, because of course they're not going to be penalized if they do something. So to me, this definitely could put you in jeopardy for losing your status, but that's not going to happen to this church. And I am suspicious and it's uneasy about a church that it seemed like it was evangelical. If they follow the King James Version and all of the adaptations, therefore, of the Bible, they ascribe to following Jesus. There's a set of principles and a doctrine that is the antithesis of what the Democrat Party stands for, what they have demonstrated. And it's not just abortion, it's just their whole entity, just really being the opposite of what the Bible teaches, what Jesus taught, to treat people fairly, to support the meek, to uplift those who are downtrodden. Like, that's the Jesus way. And to then risk a 501c3 withdrawal to, like, that means you really are like, yes, I am standing behind this, which to me, I just find like it's a conflict of interest. But I wouldn't participate in a church that got that political for one side. So that's the suspect and the legal skinny on that. The 501c3 is just a code that's used with the IRS that distinguishes you as a not-for-profit. And so, yeah, there's some legal stuff in there, but of course, nothing will happen. But it's just to note that those are spaces that really shouldn't give favor or a platform to anyone running or one over the other. And then the fact that it is a place of worship, and if you're not going to worship, you're going to use it to pander, which every politician does, then I would think that this is the campaign that runs on good vibes and joy to establish that there, to make that your core. And it started off that way, and I was like, okay, this is going to be good. But then it took a left turn when she didn't name names. She didn't bring up Donald Trump's name, but it was obvious she was talking about him and labeled him as spreading misinformation, disinformation, and that he's politicizing a natural disaster and hurting the people. And I just feel like when you bring it to that point, when you bring it to attacking your opponent from the pulpit of a church, and a church that believes in, even if that was the case, you're at a church that believes in forgiveness. Kamala went in from before she got there. She talked about that she sang in the choir. She named the church that she apparently went to. I don't know when. Was that in Canada? Was that in Oakland? Who knows? But she should be familiar with that territory, and I think have respect for the pulpit if you're going to say that you are a church-going person, your faith is important to you. She was quoting Galatians and talking about Paul and the Ephesians, but that people can quote chapter and verse that is not equating to your faith level. But we're not here to examine that. No one can but the Lord above. All I'm just saying is that that was a missed opportunity for her, and I don't want her to have those opportunities. But it's like, man, when it's in your face, like, this is hope and joy. This is, you can spread some light. And I also think it's like just not a smart move to open up the conversation to be like, okay, well, you've talked about what the people have done and how great they are and how Bible like loving they are, but what have you done and what has the federal government done? And if it is misinformation, then tell us the right information. Tell us that yes, you sent 175 million to Lebanon, but that FEMA has dropped this and dropped that, and this is what we've done to Helene, because Joe Biden was having press conferences. I don't think he spoke, but with directors of FEMA and people it was St. Petersburg, I think, in Florida. He was dropped because the response to Milton was quicker. They found the money that Alejandro Mayorkas said that they didn't have. So they found it for Milton because they looked like very evil and horrible, that the Helene response was ridiculous. And so, yeah, where's the misinformation in that, especially when there are dozens, hundreds of accounts on social media from people suffering, saying FEMA is not here. It is the citizens, it's the local businesses, it's people in other states. I heard even New Hampshire was sending things down. You know, Americans do have that, spirit to help one another, especially when we're down like that. And especially when you know that help ain't coming. So I just think for those questions to be lingering in people's minds, like, why would you even give them the opportunity? But Cam sure does know how to pull together a great campaign, right? So, yeah, that's really what that is. She went on to have a rally, and they both will go on to do interesting and amazing things. There will be surprises. There was another assassination attempt. We'll give you updates on that as the story develops. But this is real life, people, and we'll be here to share it all with you. Keep it locked, stay informed, and see you on the flip side.